and welcome to Viewpoints. I'm Nadav Morag. I'm here today with Judge Jean-Louis Bruguieere from France, coming out from Paris to speak to our group. And we'll be discussing a little bit about the French judicial system and the French counterterrorism system as well. Judge Bruguieere, when you look at the strengths of the French system, what would you say are the primary advantages that France has in fighting terrorism?
I think the primary advantage is the fact that we are acting very upstream of the threat. We have promoted a proactive strategy which have proved is efficiency. And maybe what is different in France from other countries, maybe our United States, is the French judiciary systems. That you have a magistrate of investigation whose role are to investigate basically the same role as U.S. attorney in the United States. And but the juge d'instruction have many means, not only investigative means, but judiciary means. They have the capability to issue by their own warrant of arrest, search warrant, seizures, and so on. And so that's a very important means. But other things is the capability that we have in France to work very closely with intelligence and to use piece of evidence of intelligence is of course a criminal proceeding that we don't. What we are doing, try to do it is very upstream the threat, not to waste time, to be very flexible, to adapt our system to the evolution of the threat, and to try to have a very efficient and quick response to the terrorist threat.
So at the heart of the system is the role of the investigative magistrate. You can authorize wiretaps, you can authorize searches, is that correct?
Yes, and we have dedicated legal tools that we don't have. Association de malfaiteurs in French languages is a criminal association for terrorist purposes. Such criminal elements that we have, provisions, allows us to arrest and to pursue anyone who is suspected to back, terrorist groups, and to trial anybody we could suspect to be engaged in a logistic and financial support for terrorist groups. That's very, very important. It allows us to act very upstream of the threat itself and to have this proactive strategy, which is very important.
And you're probably well aware that human rights groups would argue that that's guilt by association and that it's therefore unfair. What is your answer to that kind of claim?
Yes, that's we know that this legal provision is very contested, is very disputed by human rights. But the problem that we have is not a problem of the judges. The judges have to use all the legal tools they have at their disposal. The problem is a political problem. But my statement is no, the left or the right wants to change the law. The law is very, very ancient law. It's dated from 1994. And you have different change of politics, and nobody wants to sit to this pressure in order to change the law. You have the same law, because everybody in France, including in the politics, consider that it's very important to have all the needed means in order to deal with terrorist issues.
So that the law is used not only to punish someone for committing a crime, but to prevent a crime from being committed.
Yes. This law allows us to prosecute those who are not directly involved in a commission of crime, not involved in the preparation of crime, but those who are acting to facilitate the commission of the crime.
You mentioned earlier that the French system allows the judicial magistrate to see intelligence information, which presumably would not be given to the defense. So how, as a judicial magistrate, do you look after the interests of the defense when you can't share that information with them?
Yes, the defense attorney have all the elements in the file. The problem is different. The problem that, the problem of the admissibility of evidence. We have the capability to obtain rough informations, from intelligence without having to disclose the origin of the information, the name of the sources, and the way by which the intelligence had been obtained. So we protect the intelligence. The defense attorney have not just right to say this element has no value to convince a tribunal. That's true. But we don't use, in fact, such element to convince a tribunal as a piece of evidence to convince. But very often, generally, at the legal starting point, in order to issue all this legal, investigations for a search warrant, it's important to have a legal basis in order to search, and we can do it on the basis of such element. And if the search is positive, is efficient, we have others, of course, elements and more convincing and serious piece of evidence for the trial.
So you're convinced that the most effective way of countering terrorism inside of a country is to use the judicial process, not to view it as a war, but to view it as a.
Yes.
As a
I think we have a range. Use all the resources we have. We don't exclude military forces, but we don't place military forces in the core of the systems. It's not a war on terror. We are fighting terror, and you use all the means that we have, because the enemy is inside the target. And we can't use in France. You have the same the problems of home ground phenomena and individual. We should have all the legal, civil means in order to tackle inside and outside. And the intelligence is very crucial. It's a spearhead of the system, because intelligence allows to detect and to have information. But judiciary have the legal means to neutralize, because that's the fact that we have detection and neutralization acting together is very powerful in order to prevent the state from terrorist activities. And that's a matter of fact that we don't have any incident in our country since 1996.
Now, you've worked a lot with the United States government and been to Washington quite a bit. And so you're familiar with the U.S. system here and how it works and its strengths and weaknesses. Do you have any thoughts on what things could be improved in the U.S.? Obviously, adopting the French model is not going to work.
It's very difficult, because you can't export a model. A model is designed for a specific country. I think what is important here, many things, is to enhance the level of cooperation between the agencies, intelligence, law enforcement, judiciary, and to find a way in the U.S. system to not to waste time, because maybe the system is very bureaucratic, and the problem of cooperation, waste time, and maybe complying with your regulation, your rules, your constitution's rights and requirements, maybe it's possible to speed up. One element that we have in UK and in the US, in the common law system, is to find a way not to waste time to speed up the issuing of a warrant, and that's a problem. Maybe to having dedicated or specialized judges for that, to have speed access to that, have the capability to react in a real time in 24 hours a day, including night. I don't know, but I think that's very important because our opponents, our enemies, know that they take benefit of the fact that we react sometime lately.
Well, thank you again, Judge Bruguiere, for appearing on Viewpoints and for being our guest here and for sharing your insights with us.
It was my pleasure to be here.